Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Liberland Show. I'm your host, Adam J. Carswell, today joined by the one and only Cam Ivan. Cam has been on this show enough times for me to lose track of it at this point. He's a very familiar face here on the Liberland Show. I always joke between him, I think between him and Joey Langenbrunner, we'll have to see who has the most guest appearances, but it's great to have him back here. He's coming to us live to some degree. You'll see his backdrop in a moment here from his island. Yes, he is the owner of an island in Lake Superior, which I know is a big acquisition, big victory for him recently. I'm sure we'll get the story on that here today. But again, the man, as they say, who needs no introduction. There's your introduction, Cam Ivan. Welcome back to the show and welcome back to the Liberland Circle. It's been a little while.
Pleasure being here, Adam. Always. It's been maybe, I don't think I would even come close to Joey's number of appearances. I've maybe been on four, five, perhaps. And it's also been at least a year and a half since the last time we sat down to do this. So I'm happy to be back. Obviously, very familiar with the world of Liberland. Been a little bit outside of that circle too for recent times. However, looking to change that up. So we'll get into all of that.
There we go. Sounds like we might have a Liber Pulco appearance in our future here. If that is the case, we'll go ahead and do a quick ad for Liber Pulco. Because by the time you're watching this, I think Floating Man most likely will have happened. But Liber Pulco, just Google it. And I think it's happening early September. While we're at it as well, if you do have any questions about becoming a citizen of Liberland, you actually reach out to either of us if you want to, but I'll drop my email here for you guys, citizenship.adam@liberland.org. Shoot me all your citizenship, you know what I'm trying to say. And if you want to bug Cam, you can track him down. Okay, Cam, island in Lake Superior.
Mhm.
Where did this come from?
Where did this come from? It's a good question. I mean, technically, if you want to really get down to it, like billions of years ago, there was volcanic activity, and then there was this lake that was created, and there's islands in it because of that. If you want to go that far back, I don't know. You've been going back in
Thank
history
you. No,
lately with your
actually, I didn't
family
know
tree,
that.
so
I didn't know that, so I'm happy you could enlighten me. So, fast forward a billion years, what happened then?
uh, in case you guys can't tell, me and Adam are very good friends, and we like to bug each other quite a bit.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll try to
where did it come
keep it
from?
light here today. We'll see.
Yeah, we will. We will. I've
Well,
done a
well, I'll
few
put it this way.
podcasts about the island topic, and
I remember you telling me just kind of out of the blue one day, you're like, "Hey, I think I'm going to buy an island," and then 2 days later, like, "Yeah, I just bought it today." I'm like, "What? Whoa, whoa! What happened?"
yeah. Well, okay. Naturally, we're on the Liberland show. I think, and I actually did a podcast with MC Lobster on the Cashflow Ninja about it too, because he was recently looking into how to buy an island. Because for a freedom-minded individual, what's more free than owning your own island, right? That's right. So practically in international waters. I mean, at least where we are, Lake Superior, in between Canada and the U.S. We're on the Canadian side. But how it happened um, was. I moved home back to Thunder Bay, Ontario in August of last year. The reason I moved home was my dad passed away in May. I wanted to be home to support my mother, didn't want her to be alone. All kinds of family reasons is what brought me back. And once I returned, we went out for a day to my family cottage. It's a bay on Lake Superior. I hadn't been there in at least a year. And even over the course of the last recent years, we weren't really using it very much. But getting out there, and this kind of ties back to the billion-year-old thing, by the way, just a heads up, Adam. Geographically, where we are on Lake Superior is one of the most beautiful places on the planet. I just had two friends that were moving from Calgary to Ottawa stop in for 2 nights to visit, and we went out to the island. We were on the lake, and they previously lived in Victoria, BC, right? The Vancouver Island, which is famously known as one of the most beautiful places you could be. And they kept comparing it to there. They hadn't been anywhere else in this country that could even come close to a comparison other than right here, which was incredible to me because that's quite a compliment coming from BC people. Because usually people that go and live in BC, they never go anywhere else after because it's so incredible. Um, and again, that comes back to the history where this is some of the oldest exposed rock in the world. And there's mountains, they're like slate mountains that are all around. Obviously, you're on Lake Superior, largest freshwater lake in the world. It feels like you're on an ocean because you can't see the other side of it. It's incredible. It is, and it's untouched, which is another aspect which is I find quite important because there's not much human activity up here. Probably because the winter months are so harsh that nobody really stays up here. And also, even building, supposedly building here has been very challenging because you're directly on Canadian Shield. It's not very ideal. So there's many reasons for why Thunder Bay has stayed a small little town of 100,000 people, give or take, very spread out. Um, but yeah, it's untouched. And the reason we bought the island was because when I finally got back to my family cottage, family camp is what we call it, I remember looking around and thinking, wow, this is actually so beautiful. And I've lived a number of places around Canada, but also the world. And I thought, this is incredible. And you can't appreciate that stuff when you're growing up as much until you leave and you get some perspective. So coming back, I look around, I think this is stunning. What a cool place for a yoga retreat. Because I'm a yoga teacher, I thought, oh, maybe one day that would be something cool to do. And then we go for a boat ride outside the bay into the big lake, which is something I also hadn't done in many, many years. And we see these islands, and there's not many. There's like eight, nine perhaps, and some of them are very big, and also crown land, so you can't own it.
In case you believe
Um,
in the crown.
in case what, sorry?
In case you believe in a crown, then that's what it's called. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think 90% of Canada or something is deemed crown land, so you
Oh,
can't
is it
even
really?
own it.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that. Yeah.
Well, that's funny
Anyway,
because I know you bought. I think you bought it from an American. Yeah.
no, no, no,
Oh.
no, 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 we didn't. No. Yeah, she was a Canadian woman who inherited it. But before we got there, we got into the big lake, and I remember looking around and just being so amazed at these islands because there's not many islands in Lake Superior. There's only 400. And when you consider the size of the lake, that's actually incredible. Lake of the Woods, a little further west from here, much smaller lake, borders Canada and the US, has 15,000 islands. And it's also a much more manageable lake. I mean, when I say manageable, I mean Superior is dangerous. There are hundreds of shipwrecks, most famously the Edmund Fitzgerald that broke in half and sunk to the bottom in a November gale. And there's a song about it. I forget the name of this singer, but it's a good tune. Check it out. And anyway, so we're out on the lake. I see these islands, and I thought, oh, yeah, yoga retreat at camp would be cool, but imagine if we had an island. And I said it out loud. I vocalized it. My brother and our friend Davin, who we were with, thought, yeah, that would be really cool. Why wouldn't that be cool? Not even a week later, Davin is scrolling realtor.ca for properties that are in the district of Thunder Bay, and he finds the island for sale, just listed. That day, we call the realtor, and we were not getting a tour by the realtor. He didn't even have a boat. But us having a camp nearby, we just said, yeah, we're gonna go check it out. And we went immediately to go check it out, same day, that evening, first time on the island. And we knew right then and there that we were gonna buy it because when else, like we would have been kicking ourselves years later for not doing it at this crazy opportunity. And also because of all the work that we're gonna be doing out there, it's kind of an excuse. It's an excuse to not only all get together on a regular basis, me, my brother, and Davin, but it's also an excuse to be on the water, which where else would you want to be in Canada in the summer than on the water? Unless you're like Adam and you want to be in the city.
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably what we're gonna have to do after this interview, or even right now, is start putting together a list of potential visitors for you, because you've definitely. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, all right, well, when's the next time I'm able to get out there and finally see Cam's Island? You know, you've sold me on the beauty, and I see you posting about it all the time. I guess we can do that real quick. What's the Instagram page you guys have for the island?
It's Lake Superior Island on Instagram. However, YouTube is our primary focus, and that is Superior Island
Superior Island on YouTube, Lake Superior Island on Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah.
Um, and I think from what I've seen for you too is after acquiring the island, you had a lot of work cut out for you. And not that you didn't want work and not that you don't want to do it, but it's pretty demanding keeping an island in shape, isn't it?
It is, and it's tough to make the progress that we want to make. I mean, even last year when we first started, it was late August. We technically closed on the property at the beginning of September, but we were going out there filming videos before we even closed on it because it was under contract. We were buying it, whatever. Lawyers taking their sweet time. And excuse me. And last year was just the big mission was learning how to get out there, which sounds weird, but that's a thing because we went out a few days in some crazy weather and that was dangerous. So we learned how to be more cautious with Lake Superior. We learned the capabilities of our equipment. Our boat was having some issues. We have a different boat this year. You know, we had to make some adjustments in order to be prepared for this type of endeavor because it's not easy. It's not simple at all. And there was nothing on the island other than trees, and it was very overgrown. So even getting trails built last year was an accomplishment, which is what we did. And this year, so far, we built a dock and we started building a deck where we're going to build the first sauna. And we had plans to even build a cabin this year, which may still happen. But to your point, man, if you start missing weekends or not getting out there as often as you can, look, man, it's already August 1st. It's August 1st, and we're already thinking, damn, we don't have a lot of time left. However, July was a very busy month. We did a lot in June on the island, and then July, I was gone for 3 weeks. My brother has a house that he's renovating in town, so he's been super busy, and Davin had a baby. So naturally, it's been a tough month, but we're still putting the content out there. Our videos are much better than they were the first year around and we're actually making progress. So August is
Can we
going to
do a
be a big push.
Liberland meetup there next summer?
For sure. It's going to be an official embassy of Canada of
Yeah.
Liberland in Canada, for sure. 100%. Now, whether it's next summer or not, perhaps, maybe the summer after. We definitely want to make some serious progress before we start making it a meeting place or having significant people out there. Friends and family for sure. But even that, man, it takes time, right? That kind of chews into our development time, which is a weird balancing act that we're navigating right now because everybody obviously wants to go check it out. But it's like, hey, yeah, we'll take you out on our time that we could have been putting towards actually developing it. So a little flexibility there goes a long way, though.
And now I feel like so for this interview is probably just gonna maybe even be a little bit of brainstorming or me asking you questions about things that you guys have already considered. But I feel like the next most logical step would be like how much time do you think would it take to be able to get, like you said, a cabin, some way to sleep there, maybe eat for a few days, and I don't know, as far as like power generator or Starlink, just because if someone could actually successfully live there in 2025, I get if we're 1800, you could probably live out there a lot sooner because you don't have to be, we would be watching this interview if it was 1800. But in 2025 to be relevant, to make progress, etc., you need the internet, you need power, someone living out there. How far do you think you'd be away from just either you or your brother or your friend being able to spend a week on the island and like work online?
My brother's a teacher, so he has the summer off. So he can already do that. He's just been busy with his house. So actually this weekend we're going out there. We probably won't stay on the island just because it's more comfortable to stay at the camp. Um, but we're gonna do both days. So we're obviously committing our weekends, whereas before we were just doing one day a week. Now we're gonna be committing both days of the weekend in order to really start making the progress. But my brother, he can be out there as much as he wants. Very soon, at least, once he's finished the house and has it rented out. But yeah, so that's exciting. And then I mean, for myself, working Starlink, all that stuff, not this year, not this year, maybe next year,
Yeah.
which would be pretty sweet.
But is
Because
it
when
cool for
this
you to
is a
be
real
out?
Zoom background,
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty
exactly.
awesome.
You know, that's what I'm thinking about. Cool. Um, how else has life been treating you lately? I know I saw you got a chance to get out to Stampede, which for anyone listening right now, if you're not familiar with Stampede, I would say it's probably the number one event in Canada every year. From what I've observed being there firsthand, it's like the whole country comes to Calgary for like a week and a half, which is wild. So I
Mhm.
saw you had a good time there. Let's talk about yeah, what you've been doing for fun lately and also how how work is going.
For sure. Yeah, the Stampede, man. I'll probably go to every Stampede until I can't. Um, it's an incredible event. You know, Alberta is such a friendly province, and when Stampede comes around, everybody from the country goes. And I've never been in an environment where the whole city is celebrating this event. and you feel it, and everybody's friendly. You can talk to anyone there. And it's such a unique experience because it's built around a rodeo. I was actually laughing with Nick, who recently moved from Calgary back to Ottawa now. But when I was there visiting and staying with them, it was funny because if the people that started the Stampede 114 years ago or whatever would see what it is now and see the raves that are happening and stuff, it would make no sense.
Right.
But it's incredible because yeah, you can find anything you're looking for at the Stampede, and there's just so many people. It's the best place to meet people from all around the country, and it's 10 days. That's a long time. I've done the 10 days for the last 3 years. It's a lot. I might only do weekends or something next year, but we'll see. We'll see. It's a great time, and I obviously have a lot of great friends in Calgary. It always feels like home after living there for 2 years, and I do miss it. However, not to the same way I used to. I'm okay with it just being a place that I frequent at times throughout the year, like for the Stampede.
Yeah. You've been as I mentioned, kind of keeping busy on the business front too. Not that owning an island isn't demanding and isn't business, or going to Stampede isn't, isn't not worth your time either. But you're always networking. Everyone who knows you knows you're just not surprised that you have more than one passport. You're Cam Ivan. You're the legend. You're the guy who just does what he wants to do on his time. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about what you're doing on the business front right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a funny statement, doing what I want on my time. I mean, yes and no. Like this last year's been very dedicated to my family, in service of them, and that's been great. And it's been a different change of pace considering normally I would just be doing whatever I want to do on my time. However, it's an honor to be able to participate and have a family that's worth making sacrifices for. Um, but it's been great regardless. Like this past year, I started working with TribeVest. It's a fantastic company. We help capital raisers set up fund of funds and manage their entire back office. So that's been going very well. It's fully remote. Obviously, it's been incredible for me being able to travel throughout Canada during the summer for different events or things and still obviously getting my work done. And then come the fall time, planning to travel with our boy Peter, who's a Liberland favorite. If you don't know Peter and you're part of Liberland, I don't know what you're doing. He's the best. And we'll be traveling throughout Asia, and depending on the time zone, how much I enjoy working overnights, might end up just coming back down to South America, but definitely done with the Canadian winters. I've done my part, put it all out there. 26 years, I'm over it. Um, Time to move on and really maximize the remote world and end up in different places and environments that attract people from around the world. So similar to the fact that Stampede attracts people from all across Canada and some international, places like Bali, for example, are attracting digital nomads from all around the world. I can't think of a place like that that would be better for networking, for business purposes, for alignment and people that match your vibration than those types of environments. So I'm just going to place myself in them because I find living in certain cities kind of gets a little boring where same people or like locally grown Calgarians as an example. It's like I love Calgary and I love a lot of the people there, but it's like, well, a place where people are intentionally there is different. And that's what I'm seeking. Intending to be in those places as well and making the sacrifice, getting on the plane ride, paying the ticket price to get there, and meeting others that are doing the same and are on that same vibration. I just think it's going to be a magical experience. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. So Bali's on your to-do list. I know you've told me before New Zealand is on that list. You can let me know if it's
Mhm.
not. Uh, what are like maybe a couple other countries or cities that in the next 12 months you'd absolutely love a chance to go to?
Yep. So 100% Bali, number one stop. That's like been
Oh
wanting
yeah,
to go there for years. It's the
cool.
yoga culture, but it's also the youth and the excitement and the digital nomad aspect to it. And then, so that's Indonesia. I've been to Malaysia before, Kuala Lumpur, but I would like to stop in there again. Thailand, Chiang Mai, or any some other coastal cities would be nice. Vietnam as well. Um, there's just so much. I just find Asia so fascinating. It's just a completely different culture, and but it's also very sophisticated at the same time. Um, so yeah, there's a lot happening over there, and it's not something that everybody does or gets to do. Like every North American goes to Mexico, and I love Mexico, but like there's more out there,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Isn't it? It's interesting too that you say that because I think about a lot of it actually is, I think, perspective and context too, because I would agree. And sorry to anyone out there who's been to Mexico or hasn't gone yet, but it's someone who's done it typically on this side of the
Mhm.
hemisphere, and so that takes away from like the mystifying sense of it. But I bet
Mhm.
actually there's probably people in Asia who are like, yo, Canada, bro, like I can't believe I got to go to Canada or whatever. Like how we talk about Asia. Me hearing you talk about it, I don't think you know this, but I've only been to Japan briefly. I've been to the Middle East briefly. I've never really touched like the massive chunk of Asia. And it is something that I always wonder, like, man, that'd be so cool to finally get over there. And so I don't know. I don't really know where I was going with that point, other than it is interesting what we find exciting, and then to hear from you your experience too. For me now, I'm like, all right, well, I gotta hurry up and get over there now.
Yeah, the exciting fact is just that it's different. And it's really just perspective, right? Because of course, as you said, there are people over there who think, oh, Canada or the US, like how amazing. Us is just normal, you know?
That's what you still
But
say about America.
sure. And even Bali, for example, that's similar to Australians going or Australians go to Bali all the time. So it's no different than a Canadian going down to the US. That's
Yeah.
kind of my equivalent, right? Or an American going down to Mexico. That's just their place that they go to because it's actually close. Whereas from here, you're getting on a 16, 17-hour plane ride. That's a mission that not many people want to do. However, again, coming back to the fact that people are there intentionally and going through it to get there, man, what an experience that's going to be. And even I have a friend who's traveled quite a bit, and he was telling me about Nepal, going to Nepal, seeing the mountains over there. He said some of the most beautiful places he's ever seen in his life was in Nepal. And it also has that more, not, I don't want to say foreign-esque, but less known aspect where every white girl's gone to Bali, right? Not every white girl, but you get what I'm saying.
Now I
They,
know why
it's
you're
been
going.
it's been influenced. Let's put it that way. Yes. Um, it's been influenced in a way through
Yeah, yeah,
social
for sure.
media. Places like Nepal and all kinds of like Laos, like all these other countries over there that not many people would ever go to because it's just so odd. No one thinks about it. There's something there. There's
Yeah.
something there, and it just feels like if you could be one of those people that get to experience those because there's so few from at least this side of the world that are doing it. Oh man, different category of experience you get to enjoy in this life, and it's just a big dream anyway. Why not? Why not just enjoy what you can? It's meant to be a celebration.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Nepal. I know that's where namaste is like, I don't know if you say hello to people or whatever, but you being the yoga guy, that's, you got to go to Nepal now. You can say namaste all day. Uh,
Put that on a
and
t-shirt.
they'll be like, oh, you must be from here. Your shirt says namaste. By the way, if you're from Nepal and listening to this interview right now, let us know in the comments. I never really do that. Let everyone listening right now, let us know in the comments where you're tuned in from. Um, Always, I know Cam and I both are always eager to just hear where people are from. And I guarantee if you drop where you're tuned in from right now on the comments, I will be Google mapping, whatever you put there. Cam, I know you're right there with me.
I gotta say, Adam, that's actually the best part about the Liberland network is you will find somebody from almost pretty much any country. I don't know what country doesn't have someone who was interested in Liberland at one point that's in the database. And being on that interior we get access to, anytime I show up in a different country, I can find someone who I have common ground with right away because of Liberland. So it's an international network that's worth being a part of for that alone, because you get so many new people in your life.
I was gonna say, didn't when you were doing the citizenship stuff, didn't you talk to a penguin in Antarctica?
No, no, it's the only place. That's true. You're right. That continent's off limits. You can't even go there. Supposedly, I don't know. It's
He's got
probably
his own passport. I think it's Pengy the penguin, right?
Pangy. Actually, we have a mutual friend that wants to do a cross Antarctica
Mm,
trip that hasn't taken place yet. I think it's probably a couple years out, but depending on how things go in the world over the next couple of years, at least for myself, I could see myself on that trip.
that would be really cool. That, from what I remember, I know who you're talking about. Him describing that trip sounds. It's not a vacation for anyone who does
No.
that. it's like it's a mission, as you kind of used that phraseology earlier. Is it what does he want to do again? Does he want to go to the southernmost part of the world, or what's the trip?
I believe it's a cross-continental drive. So driving across the entire continent of Antarctica.
So basically it's a big circle around the ice wall, right?
Perhaps, yeah. No, I don't know about that one. Maybe, maybe.
I'm
I would never rule anything out, but I know you're probably joking.
I'm sure we have some flat Earth theory folks in Liberland, so I wanna tip my hat to you. I don't know I don't know what I believe anymore as far as what life is,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's actually quite a comfortable place to be in. So
Moving importance.
let's talk wisdom. Let's talk metaphysics. You talked to me earlier before we hit record about something about in meditation you can kind of jump between. I don't want to use the wrong word, but it's like kind of like jumping between dimensions or something. What were you talking about?
Let's give a little more context by you sharing your thoughts or what you understood from the interview series that McCormick did on the people that had near-death experience. Provide that first.
Sure. And I would recommend that anyway. So what Cam's talking about, go check the most recent interview before this one. And also this is kind of like a game of telephone now because he gave me his key takeaways. I gave you my key takeaways from talking to him. So the number one thing is everyone should probably go, myself included, finally, I got to listen to the interview series that Ryan did with all of these people who had life death experiences. And a lot of what he learned from that time speaking to these people, and he didn't use this exact say it exactly this way, but he's like, in a way, this life that we're living right now is almost like a sideshow compared to what else there is in the world of existing. And then you said,
Compared it as a sideshow, and then you said actually, and then you said that it would start all after this essentially, and then I just corrected that train of thought because to me that's still almost like Christian in a way where you're like waiting for judgment at the end of this, then there's something else where it's actually all here right now. And I don't believe in this linear train of thought. That's just programmed into whatever realm that we're a part of, where we have this linear component, or at least the way our brain and mind can understand it. But that also comes back to the sense of or the practice of yoga and different Toltec shaman teachings of being so present and raising your awareness to where you kind of start to pick things up. And even Carl Jung with synchronicities, there's things that just start to happen and they're not linear in nature and they don't make sense. So that train of thought that's linear to me is actually holding us back from fully embodying our true power. I heard something recently about even AI. I know Adam's a big AI guy. I don't even know if this is the real Adam right now, actually. Someone was, because everyone's all scared of AI, and I can't remember where I saw this, but essentially, we are the technology they're afraid of. We have this infinite power that we've been dumbed down to neglect or not believe that we're actually capable of. And it is a true connection into whatever you want to call it, source, the infinite, and being able to jump through timelines, quantum jumping, lucid dreaming. And you could say, oh, none of that's real. Well, what's real? Define real, please. Define that for me. Your self-importance and job that you have is real? Come on, man. This is a magical realm, and it starts to show itself when you become present and aware in weird ways that you wouldn't even expect. So
so ladies and gentlemen, th
those are my thoughts.
yeah, for those listening right now, this interview is not real. Bye. Um, that was a
I mean, you do enough psychedelics and you start to question what even is real.
yes, and we spoke about that on the show on a previous interview, and I really like that. I like that take that you had then specifically, which was it had to do with God And oh, talking about how people like to say whether or not they believe in certain things or they believe in God. And I want to just double check here. Are you still with me? I see the connection's getting spotty. Of course, at the juiciest part. Let me make sure you're good here. All right, so speaking of speaking of the universe and what life is, etc., sometimes when you're getting to the good part, the universe says, "Hey, we got to put things on pause." So we are hitting the 30-minute mark here, and we're having some connection issues. So, ladies and gentlemen, you'll have to stay tuned for when we pick up this conversation for Cam's 100th time on the show. Cam, if you can still hear us, just let everyone know again how they can keep in touch with you, everything with the island, all that good stuff.
First of all, props to your awareness because to me, those things are not random. The fact that the internet started slowing down when we were talking about it means we probably talked about it enough, and that's good with me for today. Um, how you can stay in touch, please just go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Superior Island. That's the one place that you can keep tabs on what we're doing and follow the journey. We put a lot of effort into that channel. We're just over 300 subscribers now. We got about 75 videos, including shorts in there, but 4 to 5 full-length videos for season 2 that have been posted, depending on when this interview airs. And we just keep pumping them out, 40-minute videos every week.
Love it. Love the dedication, guys. Go subscribe to them on YouTube. All of Cam's links and information are down below in the show notes. And again, if you are considering taking things to the next level with Liberland, becoming a full citizen, you can shoot me an email, citizenship.adam@liberland.org. Happy to field any thoughts, questions, all that good stuff that you might have. So, again, thank you for tuning into another awesome episode. We'll catch you in the next one. And remember, in all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level.